So, I guess it's something I need to get clearer on for myself. The door has to be closed because of the amount of noise that happens. So when she's putting on makeup.
No, I was gonna shut this door because if she's gonna be in the bathroom, it's just less sound that can travel into the room.
What kind of sound gets like? What kind of a big amount of sound happens for?
I mean, have you ever been to a recording booth?
Makeup though.
Have you ever been to a recording booth?
Yeah.
It has a door to prevent sound from coming in, because when you're recording sound, the less stuff that's in the background, like you just never know what these are.
My question is, what is that stuff?
What do you mean? Background sound?
No, for putting on makeup.
What do you mean?
What do you think? What do you mean? What I mean? The sound.
You're asking
because you said to close.
What is the sound that comes from makeup?
Yes.
You want me to make the sound?
No. Is it so loud that she has to close the door?
It could possibly. You're dealing with
what happens?
You're dealing with condenser mics.
Condenser mics.
Okay, these mics amplify that. That's why they even. I can hear you a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. It's just where I went to audio engineering school, these are just practices that they set up. Like, for example, did you notice right before I hit record, I went and shut the AC off?
I did not.
Because that AC sound, even though you might not hear it directly, it does affect certain people. You might not hear things. People hear different, like that. Sometimes in comments, people will be like, "Oh shit, I can hear the AC in the background."
What, you know what I hear? I hear that fire alarm thing going off.
That goes off.
Smoke detector.
I took that off.
You took it off
because of
what
that.
Week?
Maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Because Ashley's the one that heard it. I didn't hear it
I had been hearing it,
and she heard it.
I didn't even say anything because I grew up like that.
But I didn't notice it. And it's something that I should have been aware of, right? Being the so-called audio engineer, she picked up on it. Therefore, you never know what people are going to hear in the background.
I didn't grow up like that. I had that my first place out of college.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up like that.
Well,
my bad. I'm a little drunk for some reason.
This is a good segue into where I wanted to start on this podcast, and that is blaming people.
Who am I blaming?
We're blaming the wrong people sometimes. We've been doing, this is the 53rd episode of this podcast.
Nice.
And there is obviously a lot of victims in a lot of the crime episodes that we do. For sure. Okay. And we want to blame the bad people. Right. But the more I start to do research on these stories.
Here we go. It's not their fault, right? It's society.
Society has to start
of course it's society.
Taking
society's fault.
Motherfucking responsibility for people
to start
like
taking
this.
Motherfucking responsibilities for doing what they're doing.
This is the topic of religion, right? And the communities that religion produce and the mindset of these communities that religion produces always makes people that are super judgmental, right? Create these taboo, the majority, right?
Majority, okay.
We're going to closet all our freakish-like behavior.
Right.
And on the outside, we're going to wear this mask to society to show everybody we're holy, right? We're divine, right? All these things that we try to practice to try to better humanity, I think it makes humanity worse. Not all the time, right? It affects different people in different ways.
Right.
Is there more of a majority of good people that get affected by religion, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But those majority don't do bad things. It's the anomalies. It's the small percentage of people that these religions affect that creates motherfucking monsters.
You're saying religion,
vampires,
the monsters.
It's not necessarily the religion. The religion is a practice and an idea.
Right.
It's the adopting of these ideals, these moralities, and what
it helps. It helps with their already
It causes either confusion. Or it causes a way of thinking that automatically...
So religion is causing these people that.
Yes.
Okay. So religion is causing people to do crazy shit to people.
Well, the practice of the religion. Because the religion is just, like I said...
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Words put together.
Everybody can
put words together. The right people put words together and it becomes some creative-ass shit.
Okay.
That's what religion is.
Right.
That's what the practices of not just religion but faith, right? Even down, like, I was watching this show Love After Lockup, which is about couples that get together while one of them are incarcerated. They get out of jail and become married, right? Crazy story, really dirty, right? I love it though. It's good reality TV. But the point I'm making is that we as people develop these ideals based on our communities. For example, just not just religions, but like Bloods and Crips and mafias. There's other sects of people, not sex, but sexed
of
groups of people,
right,
that might not necessarily believe in God, but still have ideals that create their morality.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Bloods and Crips, they believe in, don't be a snitch, be loyal to you. So that's what I mean by it's not just a religion that does this. It's the adopting of the mindset.
Okay.
And it converts you because of the beliefs into, like, what I kind of say, like, hypocritical, cynical personalities. You know what I mean? Because you will separate yourself from other people's belief, even if they may look a little weird.
And you're talking about the small percentage that religion affects negatively.
Yeah, there's a thing called the Bible Belt.
What would you think the percentages of, like, if we're going to call negative people, and who's negative? Is it everybody that
you have to be standing? We're going with the Christian faith for today, right? Or this so-called.
Oh, so we're attacking Christians today.
Well, we're attacking the Bible Belt.
I don't know if I want to attack Christians.
Well, there's something going on in. Have you ever heard the term Bible Belt?
Sure.
It's an area of the United States.
Do I live in it? No.
No.
I'm south of it.
I think Florida might be part of it.
I feel like it is. Driving around, there's some roads with like 7 churches on one road.
What is it about that vibe, though?
I'm like, why are there so many churches on this road? And different sects of sects.
What type of vibe does that give you when you drive by those churches and stuff?
I'm fine with it.
It's not a little weird?
No. I mean, it's weird that there's 7 on one road, but religion in itself doesn't.
Why? Why, though?
Why? What?
It's too much. We're doing too much.
It feels like a lot, but it feels like everybody's represented, really.
Remember when I forgot what episode this is. I would like you guys to figure it out, search through the episodes, but we're talking about certain religions, and you're saying you family members, you're part of this religious faith that they like convulse and go crazy.
My son's mother is, her family's Pentecostal. I think. I can't remember, but it's from like South America, and it kind of made me uncomfortable at some points.
Right. And that's the level that I'm talking about. It's like we want to judge crazy people, so-called weird people, so-called outcasts, but even within these religions that we start convulsing and catching the spirit.
Yeah, man.
We're losing.
I don't know.
We're losing something there.
The brain does crazy stuff to you. When you believe that you might be going through a process that is divine and something holy, you feel it. Maybe you're breathing weird, so you're hyperventilating, so you're lightheaded. Maybe you really start to see stuff because I don't know. Right. But I've seen people like go into stuff.
Do you think when you drink when you're at a church, have you ever been to a church and they drink the wine and they say this is the blood of Christ?
No, I don't. They could if they wanted to.
They do that.
Nobody's checking the wine. They do what?
They say that the wine is the blood of Christ.
No, I know. That's the my initial, I guess, if I had a first religion, that was my first religion. Was the and they're doing the fucking
the sage. They're burning the sage.
It's like going around, and it's really like
boring.
All that, and then afterwards,
it's really boring.
And this is the blood of Christ, and this is the body of Christ, and. Till I was like 9, and then my mom was like, "Hey, listen, if you don't want to like do it, you could just stay home while we go." And so I was like, "Cool," because I'm gonna stay home because I want to watch A-Team, and I want to watch A-Team, and I don't want to, I want to play on my Nintendo and stuff like that. I don't want to go. I like the donuts and orange juice at the end of it, but it really wasn't my bag. Like, it was mad boring to me.
Yo.
So then it was after that, it was my grandmother in Mississippi when I go to. This is still young. When I would go visit. Just to get that, my dad wanted me to get that side of it, I guess. I don't really know why I was there by myself with my grandma, but maybe my parents went on a trip. That's when my parents were still together. So I'll get over there, and it's like Sunday, and my grandmother's like, well, you got to go to church Sunday. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if I'm really kind of confused on the timeline in my brain as far as remembering what age I was. So I think this might have been before my mother told me I didn't have to do any religion or whatever. But so I'm there, and she has me walk to the church. So first of all, I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. First time I ever did. And I was just like this little kid. And I didn't really even know where to go. So I'm walking down this road, and I get to the church, and I go in. And, man, it was the complete fucking opposite of
fun.
It was motherfucker. People still catching the Holy Ghost, though, just in different ways. And you know what was crazy about this one? They had ushers. They had cats posted by the door in suits and little white gloves. So when people were having their experience,
they're like the referees.
They came out and they would sit there and they would kind of like, okay, you over here? No, get you back up. All right. Not pull them yet. And then at a certain point, it was like, all right, time to go. Okay, time to go. And they would like bring them off. And I was like, wow, that was more efficient. You know what I mean?
Organized spiritualism.
And then the later times, it was obviously with my son's mother. And that was even crazier because at that point, that's when I learned. And I knew it before, I heard it before, but I never experienced it. God speaks through some people. And apparently, God hates bald people.
Yo, that's mad fucked up.
Black people. And people who say they love them, but don't really. Apparently, I'm just the worst person, but they speak through each other. It's amazing.
Let me ask you something. That part when you were a kid, right, and you crossed over to to see the other practices in that religion, your mom was giving you an open-minded view or allowing you at least a platform of seeing things in a different way.
Sure.
Imagine the parents that instill these things to these kids, where it kind of blinds them. It's like you're the most vulnerable at a young age on purpose because your brain is still developing. So like those things that you hear, like I was saying earlier, the blood of Christ, but it's really wine. Mm-hmm. But the metaphor for that really being blood and you drinking blood as a kid, that thing.
That's crazy.
And it made me feel like, damn, am I really drinking blood? Like I really started to question.
I remember that,
what is this?
It was crazy as I haven't thought about this in a long time because I never had to. But like I remember sitting there thinking, wait, what? We're doing the what?
Did you ever think about vampires?
A little bit, yeah.
Right?
Quickly. I mean, it was explained to me fairly quickly. It was just something I wasn't going to be partaking in because it was wine. And it was very realistic,
Today's topic is about these teenage vampires.
Initially, I did. Blood and vampires.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense. That's the same.
Blood of Christ. What?
Yeah, like.
Okay.
And it gives the
Like,
whole practice of like
not me.
This giving you life. We're sharing something. Christ is part of me. This kid named Rod Ferrell. Okay? Rod Ferrell, okay? Vampire Rob is what we're going to call him.
Okay.
Vampire Rod is a kid first, right? Just like Jeffrey Dahmer, just like Schaefer in the Father episode, just like a lot of these.
What time frame are we talking about here?
This kid was born in the 80s, so he's right around our age. He's a year older than us.
Ooh, all right.
So all right. This happened in 1996.
96, so he was in his 16, he was a teenager. He was 16. Yep.
Now, what happened with Rod was that his mom, at a young age, left, and she was left to raise him by herself, and she was also a teenage kid. Remember, we always talk about kid raising kids. What makes the world a bad place in Fredo's opinion?
Parents.
The lack of parenting.
Yeah.
So when you have kids raising kids,
It's not gonna work.
well, the reason it's
Especially
not going
if
to
they
work
still trying to be
is the
kids.
minds are not fully evolved.
They're still trying to be kids.
So Rod's mom would put him onto this vampire.
Hold on a second. I think that a 15-year-old could be a good parent.
Could.
Yeah.
But
I think they have the capacity to, but most don't want to be. And no matter what, they don't want to be.
well, scientifically, and this is just scientifically, right? If we're going to believe that global warming is popping, right, then we got to believe in like the brain doesn't fully evolve.
No, it's not. But
So
I'm
it's
saying you could be a
25.
great parent at 15, I think, and younger. I think you could, but most just don't want to be. There's a want that there's a sacrifice that has to happen constantly for your kid.
I don't want to say Rod's mom wasn't a good mother, but because she was a young mother, she was susceptible to her mind still evolving, therefore beliefs, right? So the same way your mother and my mother introduced me to religion and we were affected by certain things, I think that Rod's mother was still going through her belief evolution, and she believed in vampires. So she put on Rod
curveball
to a lot of this vampire shit, and Rod grew up thinking that he was a 500-year-old vampire named Vasco.
Yo, you're so good at that. You're so good at like burying like the fucking curveball on me. What was it yesterday? We haven't even dropped the episode yet. What was it last week?
Oh my god, the midget Ukrainian.
Oh, she's and then she had pubic hair. I was like, yo,
we gotta step it up, bro. We're getting deeper and deeper in this podcast shit. If I want this black belt, I really gotta start bringing it.
So goddamn, she was raising him as a vampire
with the beliefs.
No, I thought you said he believed he was an old vampire.
He started to believe that he was a 500-year-old vampire because a lot of this vampire stuff, just like
and
real
she
religion,
like encouraged it.
Yeah.
God damn. What part of the state was this?
Not to the point where.
What part of the state was this?
Well, this happened in Kentucky.
South Florida? Okay.
This happened in Kentucky.
I was like South Florida on the map
again. My man didn't like earn his wings until he got to Florida, like most motherfuckers.
Which part of Florida?
This happened in Eustis, Florida. All right.
Where the fuck is Eustis?
So I'm not going to say that I agree with the fact that he murdered people in Florida.
Okay, hold on. What are you about to say? What are you saying?
That I started the whole conversation with like this whole like not anti-religion, but I want religion, especially like places like the Bible Belt, to practice like a lot of this like conservative Christian values bullshit. And I say bullshit because it creates people like this.
Okay.
If hold on, let me finish this. Go ahead. Thompson, why do we have homeless people and beautiful churches, and at night when the homeless people...
There's so much negative you're right. There's so much negative that comes with religion, but you can't say that the religion itself creates people that are negative. You can't say that.
It creates a mindset that makes people like Rod, that feels like he's an outcast, that feels like he was brought up in a situation that, you know, he wasn't emotionally able to deal with. And because the community he grew up with wasn't open-minded. If Rod was maybe raised in L.A., it would have been a little different. But because he was raised in the Bible Belt of Kentucky, these motherfuckers were outcast. Okay, Rod, that whole time when I can't remember the white boys that shot up Columbine. I think it was a Dylan or one of those names, all right?
Okay.
They remember the whole trench coat mafia thing.
Yeah.
There was a thing going on, maybe because of 9 Inch Nails and Trent Reznor, and Marilyn Manson, where kids were starting to feel like this whole goth thing, anti thing. So this was going on in the United States, and Rod was one of these characters, these like big black boots with a fucking trench coat, dark hair, I believe I'm a vampire type shit. And in the Bible Belt, this looked odd, like, because motherfuckers in that area are talking about, like I was talking about at the Sausage Castle barbecue. Check out the Sausage Castle episode where we talk about the typical things that people in rural communities do, like make barbecue,
and are super
and burn
uber religious,
right?
And they have these, like you say, these ideals of like conservative ideals or whatever.
Yeah, have you ever heard of Aleister Crowley?
No.
Aleister Crowley's arguably the father of Satanism. Okay, the practice of believing in the dark art. Really what their belief is to absolutely indulge in everything that a human could do on earth.
Okay.
Because they're anti
including killing
to
people?
the God. Anything. In order for that, they feel like in their belief, in order for me to be a full human,
right,
I need to experience everything under the sun.
It's true.
So that's their belief, and it's the reason why they call themselves the Antichrist is because they're anti to what the Christian beliefs believe. So where I'm going with this is the father of those dark religions.
Kind of, though. You're not really completely anti, though, I guess.
Well,
if what you're saying to me is true, I don't think you're completely anti, because some of the stuff, if you're experiencing everything, you're also loving people and being nice to people and praying and believing in God, and if you're going to do everything that you can do in life.
That's the poster child shit. That's not what's really going on, though.
What I'm saying is, if the only way to completely be human is to experience everything and to do everything, including the bad shit, then you also got to do all the good shit.
Well, yeah, but that's easy.
It is. It can be. It isn't necessarily easy. It can be. But what they're doing is choosing, what some people are doing is choosing themselves, not God, not religion, not nothing, to be bad. That's what you're choosing to do. You're choosing to dwell on the negative shit and kill people and
but why
fuck
though? Because your life was fucked up.
Sure.
You've been beaten your whole life.
Yeah, it's like it has nothing to do with religion. It's just a reason. It's just some bullshit reason to like fucking say I'm doing this.
Plays the part as the counter.
It's
there. It's there, and it creates people. Like when this
religion wasn't there, they'd do the shit anyway.
When this happened in 1996, the media ate this shit up like a storm because it was the dark dude that believed in vampirism, and so
because they're trying to sell newspapers and they're advertising.
They're trying to sell the Christian mindset, and this promotes it. You know what the media is the biggest thing when they promote stories like this, like Casey Anthony, like every time we arrest a drug dealer, every time there's literally a gunshot story in the news every day in Central Florida. Mm-hmm. You want to know why? Because that is a commercial for the prison industrial complex. Okay? Let's scare the shit out of people. Mm-hmm. All right? If not, the people that are not scared, let's encourage them to do this shit so that these type of things exist.
Okay, so that's definitely like the I hesitate to use the term conspiracy theorist angle on it. It's not conspiracy theory. I mean, it's technically something that could be somebody on the highest level wants to only push these kind of stories, right? The other side of it, or another idea of it would be when you put up stories of a young black cop taking over a community to better the kids by showing them how to code, and you put a story up like that, people don't watch it because they don't give a fuck, because they want to see a train wreck. They want to see a plane crash. They want to see somebody shot. So they show the stories of people being shot.
That's because that's what
people. No, because people don't watch. People looking at shit don't want to see good shit most of the time. I mean, I watch good shit at work because of the negative shit that I'm surrounded with. I watch soldiers coming home and special education people making jump shots in basketball, kids asking their step parents to adopt. I watch shit like that at work to combat the negative shit that I watch at work all the time. But people outside, for whatever reason, the numbers, again, global warming and whatever else, the numbers say, I don't give a fuck about this good shit. I'll say that I want it, and I'll be mad that the news only puts negative shit on there. But At the end of the day, I'm only going to click on that train crash, that gunshot, that hostage situation, that crazy accident, the fucking tornado that took out of everything, because that's what draws
what you
advertising.
Like, right?
That's what draws advertising, I guess. I don't know. It's at the end of the day, for the news, for instance, it's about making money. Religion, probably for more than not. I don't know what the statistic is. If it's 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, whatever. People just trying to make money, bro.
I agree with you. If I'm on World Star and there's a video,
if you're on World Star, it's all negative, right?
No.
Isn't there all negative shit on World Star?
No, there's like, if I'm on World Star, I'm definitely gonna click like the news are like, oh, crazy shooting, crazy bank robbery.
Chris Brown gets a tattoo of Jordans on his face.
But if there's like but on the same merit, like you were saying, if there was a video of like, oh look, this woman with Down syndrome won the Special Olympics or whatever, I might click on that.
Yeah, it's gonna have less views.
No,
it's gonna have less views.
No, you know why it's gonna have the same amount of views?
It's gonna have less views.
People might want to click on that video to laugh at her face.
Guarantee you, it's gonna have less views.
People want to click and make fun of people like that too.
Okay, it's gonna have less views.
Why would it be on World Star? Because it's funny.
Because it gets views. It's on because World Star's trying to do the same thing the news station's trying to do, is sell advertising.
Those midgets racing with the camel
people. Yeah, no. What? Say it again.
I sent you a video with a whole bunch of little people racing a camel in a race. It was remember the last midget like took off like lightning. Remember it was like a relay race.
No,
it was a little person relay race.
What are you talking about?
It was a little person relay race. All right, and they're chasing a camel.
A little person relay race and they're chasing a cat. I don't remember this at all.
All right, I'll send it to the Facebook and I'll also play it for you guys in post so you guys can see this video.
Nah, adopt a grown woman. How long ago was this?
This was like a week or two ago.
I don't even see it here, bro. Did you send it through Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send it to you again.
I was on my messages.
The point I'm making is that I think I agree. People do get more caught up with the crazy stories because it sells advertising, but I think we've also been conditioned like this over the years. I don't think the humanity was always like that. I might be wrong because I'm only
it's been the same since the beginning. It's always been about the advertising,
sensationalism.
It's always been about what are people going to watch and why are they going to watch it, and it's going to be negative shit. Now again, people want to see, at least say they want to see positive shit. But if you put 3 movies in front of somebody, and I can come up with any, I guess, 3 titles.
I agree.
But the action movie where a bunch of people getting blown up.
Yeah.
The story where the pitcher pitches his heart out, but he only has one arm, and it has a lot of slow music and slow parts and great shot and greatly acted. And then the comedy. They're going to choose the action movie and the comedy. Probably the comedy. But be awesome if the comedy has some action in it. You know what I mean? Like that's what people want to like fuck with.
Yeah, it's fast.
That's what they want to ingest.
It's fast food.
What's the most popular shit on our small ass thing?
Crime.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about today. Vampire Rod.
So the idea of all of that is nice, but it just is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Kimberly?
I
think it's the first time I introduced Kimberly. I made a seitan burrito for this special occasion.
So. He's a vampire, bro. Okay. Yo, Vampire Rod.
What if the Bloods were vampires? Nah, black people too smart for all that shit. This definitely some white boy shit. Roderrick Justin Rod Ferrell, born March 28, 1980, is an American convicted murderer.
Roderrick.
He was a member of a loose-knit gang of teenagers, known as the Vampire Clan. Ferrell told people that he was a 500-year-old vampire named Vesago, a character he created for himself after becoming obsessed with the role-playing game Vampire, the Masquerade. It was his mother, Sondra Gibson, who first introduced this game to Rod, Brewster, R.A., 2018. In 1998, Ferrell pleaded guilty to the double slaying of a couple from Eustis, Florida, becoming the youngest person in the United States on death row. Originally sentenced to death, Ferrell's penalty has since been reduced to life without parole.
What'd you ask?
Where's Eustis?
About like 40 minutes from here, right in Central Florida.
South?
In the middle, like by Mount Dora.
On November 25, 1996, the week of Thanksgiving, Naomi Ruth Queen and Richard Vendorf were found by their daughter Jennifer Vendorf, beaten to death in their Eustis home. While 49-year-old Richard Vendorf was asleep on his couch and Ruth was in the shower, Ferrell, an accomplice Howard Scott Anderson, had entered the home through the unlocked garage, picking up the murder weapon, a crowbar. Before Richard had even awakened, Ferrell beat him multiple times with it, fracturing both his skull and ribs, almost instantly knocking him out, and killing him shortly thereafter. When Ruth had found Ferrell and Anderson in the home moments later, Ferrell bludgeoned her to death, bashing her head with the crowbar. He claimed in his confession, however, that in his original plan, he was going to allow Naomi Ruth to live, but she first attacked him by lunging at him and throwing a very hot cup of coffee on him, which angered him and made him change his mind and kill her also. Richard was found bearing burn marks in the shape of a V. It was said that the V was Ferrell's symbol, which he accompanied with a dot for each person he considered to be in his vampire cult. The victims were the parents of Heather Vendorf, a longtime friend of Rod's whom he was helping run away from a home that she described as hell. Heather and the other girls that were with Ferrell and Anderson were not at the Vendorf home when the murders took place. Charity Kesey and her friend Dana Cooper had driven Heather to her boyfriend's apartment so Heather could say goodbye before leaving for New Orleans, leaving Roderrick and Scott outside the Vendorf home. After 4 days of driving through 4 states, the group was found in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It is believed that Ferrell liked a video arcade in New Orleans, and they were headed there. One of the girls, Charity Kesey, placed a call to her grandmother in South Dakota. The group needed money, and Charity thought her grandmother could help them. However, Kesey's grandmother informed the police about her whereabouts and helped police trick Ferrell, Vendorf, and the rest of the teens into going to a local Howard Johnson's hotel, where they were arrested by waiting law enforcement. The 4 were held at a Baton Rouge jail for a week before being extradited back to Florida, where they were initially booked at the Lake County Jail. They were later moved to a juvenile facility in Ocala. Legal proceedings. On February 12, 1998, then 17-year-old Ferrell pleaded guilty to the murders, claiming that the others traveling with him were innocent except Scott Anderson.
This is what he looked like when he was 16.
Ferrell pleaded guilty to 2 counts of felony murder. Ferrell's attorneys tried to argue that he was insane. He has been diagnosed with mental disorders including schizotypal personality disorder 4 and Asperger syndrome. University of Florida further attested to the fact that Rod could sometimes witness spiritual things, like angels and demons. Stanfield, F. 2019. Judge Jerry T. Lockett sentenced Ferrell to death. Charity Kesey was convicted of 2 counts of third-degree murder, robbery with a gun or deadly weapon and burglary armed with weapon or explosives. She was sentenced to 10.5 years in state prison. Dana Cooper was convicted of those charges as well, but was given a 17.5-year prison sentence. Anderson was convicted of the same charges as Ferrell and was sentenced to life in prison. For 2 years, Ferrell held the record as the youngest inmate on death row until November 2000, when the Florida Supreme Court reduced his sentence to life in prison. Because Florida had long abolished parole, the sentence is without it. Kesey was released from prison in March 2006 and Cooper was released from prison in October 2011. In January 2013, an appellate court dismisses attempts by Roderrick Ferrell and Howard Scott Anderson to get a new sentencing hearing. However, in December 2018, Howard Scott Anderson was resentenced by Don Briggs to 40 years in prison. Anderson was given credit for the 22 years he's already served. Ruth Vendorf's relatives attended Anderson's resentencing hearing and did not oppose his early release. Speaking with the Daily Commercial, they said they are more concerned about Ferrell, who was scheduled to face his own resentencing hearing in July 2019. Ferrell's resentencing hearing has been moved to November 18. Anderson is currently incarcerated in the Calhoun Correctional Institution while Ferrell is currently incarcerated in the Tomoka Correctional Institution.
So he was.
These cats are getting out?
Well, this is what happened, right? He was 16 when this happened. I know that first picture I threw up makes him look like a man, but the kid that we're talking about when the murder was committed was only 16. Now, again,
He bludgeoned 2 people to death.
He
killed 2 people.
Basically,
at 16.
He had come down to Florida previously with his mother. Okay.
Sorry. With the crowbar, he killed 2 people.
Let me explain the context of
No. Before the context, I want to get the end part real quick, just so I get it clear.
A mother and a father.
Okay, cool.
Older too, like older than us, like in like almost 50s and shit.
Okay.
They're older. When you look at their pictures, they look like older people. So Vamp
Rod.
came down to Florida with his mom. You know, his mom and him were kind of
what
like
age?
best friends.
At what age?
At first, I think he was like maybe 14 or 15, and he came down.
So 2 years before the murder, essentially. Okay.
And he met this girl, and
Eustis meets a girl.
right, which is
I like girls too.
so when he comes down to Florida, he meets this girl. They get acquainted.
They complimented each other on their hair.
Well, I think that she was into like dark kind of dudes, and he again
I love his
believed
hair.
the long hair. Right, he looks like I feel like somebody could play him in a movie. He looks like a movie character to me. He doesn't look like your typical like murder serial killer. And they said he had like Asperger's, I guess.
Right? That's a social thing, right?
Yeah, and I think it also has like
I mean, killing people is definitely not something that is socially acceptable or normal. So that makes sense, I guess.
yeah.
That a killer would. Is that something bad to say? I don't know.
Well, I think this
No
guy was
disrespect.
conditioned at a young age to not really deal with reality like the way we deal with
So the
reality.
mom, right? That's what we haven't really heard about the mom. What she didn't say anything about the mom, did she?
Well, we're gonna hear a little bit about it when I play some of these videos, but the point is that as a young boy, he was kind of initiated into these practices of vampirism, and like the reason I say that like maybe that was and wasn't because like we get indoctrinated in the religion shit with the whole blood of Christ shit. It's maybe not as extreme as vampire shit, but like it's still there.
It's there.
And I think because the community he grew up in Kentucky treated him like an outcast because he was this vampire kid with this long. His mom taught him how to be, in a sense, and he was considered an outcast. He turned it into a negative thing. I think that's what made it a negative thing because it's like being racist almost, you know, like a religion racism because it's like, oh, since you don't believe in God and you're
Religion
dark.
racism.
Well,
yeah.
if we were more open-minded, like I don't think every single Satanist is into killing people. I
don't think every single Christian is into judging people.
that's true too.
You know,
But it still exists there.
it exists there,
And if you're the light side, you have to realize that you're also creating the dark side.
in the same way that it exists, that there's just some negative ass, terrible people using Satanism to go kill somebody. You know what I mean? And there's some totally fine people that just want to indulge in all things, but won't go kill somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's really my point here. Like,
So that's why I was saying earlier, it has nothing to do with really religion. It just has to do with, that's just a vehicle. That's an excuse.
Yeah.
It's like when but someone goes out and like parties and drinks a bunch and makes out with a dude and like gives him a hand job. He's like, bro, I was just drunk, man. I'm not gay, man. I was just drunk, you know?
or like
It's
going to jail and having a lover. And
just
then
a
coming
vehicle to, you know, it's easy enough to, it's an excuse, man. Do what you do. You want to go rob people? You're going to go do that. Don't say it's because I got to eat, you know? No, go get a job. You don't want to go get a job. You want to rob people. Sure, it's easier. You want to sell crack. You don't want to go do something that's difficult to get legal money. I get you. But don't try to like flower it up with bullshit. Just be real about it. And then we'll at least know where you stand. And then I'll disagree with you still, but at least we know where you stand. It won't be a bunch of like, well, Christ said this and blah, blah, blah said that. You know, it's like, no, man, you just don't like him because he's gay or whatever. You don't like gay people. You don't like that he's happy sucking somebody's dick. It's like, who cares? Like, oh, he wants to be negative and has, he has long black hair. Do you see his hair?
Yeah.
You see the leather jacket? He looks like somebody from the Matrix. It's like, okay, cool. I got other shit going on. Who cares what he has
That's
on?
what I want society to do. I think that's what we practice.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
I think if that was the rule of thumb, man, the greatest example my mom could ever give me was treat people unto you, right? The way you want to treat. Like, and
that
it's
old
just,
golden rule.
no matter what they look like, just be open-minded. And especially because you're a child of Jesus, you should be the most open-minded person in the room.
On top of which, if somebody's mad weird to you, wouldn't you just want to be nice to them just in case? You never know.
That's true.
That's how I was. Literally, that's how I used to feel when I was growing up. I was like, yo, this motherfucker's over here eating crayons.
Bro, so that's why I'm saying most of
What's
these people...
up, Jeff? How you doing, man?
Most of these people from Murray, Kentucky, I think you guys have a strong role in the deaths of the people, you know, in this story. Like Richard Winderoff and his wife, Ruth. You guys are part of it, in a sense. No, we're not going to put you on death row, but like let's start taking responsibility for our actions and realize that sometimes as society we can prevent things like this by happening by just being a little more open-minded, by just being a little more accepting.
Yo, it's like it has to going to the person who has a problem with something. It has to have a lot to do with them not having anything to do. Like if you had more to do, you wouldn't waste your time worrying about what other people were doing.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you have anything to do?
Yeah.
Besides worry about what somebody else is doing? Please, like seriously, that makes no sense to me. I got so much shit to do in my regular ass day than really put forth. I can talk about it with somebody and like kind of like, you know, have a conversation about something like that. That in itself is a waste of time, but at least that's not really wasting time per se. I might waste 20 minutes or something like talking with somebody about it. But when you're going to go out and like protest and goddamn go file paperwork and make videos and music and all of that shit, you need something to do.
Yeah.
You got nothing else to do.
And talk about it, but be open-minded about the way you're talking about it.
Sure.
Find all sides of it.
Make it be a conversation.
Don't make it like a behind the thing that everybody's... Because imagine walking through a small town like Murray, Kentucky, and always hearing like, yo, that's the weirdo dude. Yo, that's the weirdo dude. Maybe you don't have a bad intention by saying that because everybody else is following it, but like, oh, yeah, well, why is he so weird? Like, what's wrong with him? Yeah. Oh, shit, his mom used to fucking put him onto vampire shit? Well, fucking that's why he's got the long black hair and the damn... This motherfucker thinks he's a vampire. He's like Count Dracula over here. Walk over there and be like, yo, 1, 2... You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm definitely guilty of stuff like that. I'm not saying that I'm like...
No,
never have done that, you know what I mean? But it's just... That's what happens. That's... You know, if it's anything, it's not religion. It's that kills people. That turns those people into those type of people.
If we want to find a place of, we're never going to live in a utopia, but if we want to get rid of mass shootings, if we want to get rid of motherfucking Dylan Roofs walking into churches, if we want to get rid of these like fucking people walking
neo-Nazis
or
nationalists,
going into
right-wingers, all of that.
Blowing up things, we need to be open-minded to other people and stop being in everybody's business, man.
That's the easiest one.
That's our job.
Like, I don't even think right now in this day and age, I don't even think we need to worry about. I think the first step is getting people to like not worry about shit that doesn't affect them.
Right.
Like, I think that's the first step. I think trying to get people to change their ideals and their way of thinking, the way they think certain people are, or whatever, that's such a big undertaking. I think getting people to just be concerned with their own thing. If I'm not affecting you, me giving this dude a hand job shouldn't affect you.
Yeah, but people have to come to realization that like, oh shit, I'm the bad person in this also.
Eventually, sure. Eventually. I think incrementally, I think that's the first step. To me, is to go do your thing, I'll do my thing, and then we'll circle back around with like if your thing is the right thing. You know what I mean?
Or there is no right thing, unless it's hurting somebody.
Sometimes there's definitely a right thing, bro.
Like Rod, you should not be bludgeoning people.
Killing people is a wrong thing.
If you want to sip on blood,
sometimes.
If you want to hang out at the fucking cemetery,
what kind of blood are we talking?
Yo, if you and your homie want,
you and me. If we're good on, if you're sucking each other's blood, it's like, what's wrong? That's kind of weird, but that's wrong. What's wrong?
Why
with
is it weird?
Right.
Don't throw your ego in it.
Right.
You're
absolutely
don't throw your
positively
ego.
Right.
You're a vampire.
My training into it.
You're being a vampire.
Again, if there's two grown men want to suck each other's blood, now if in 5 years something, I'll use the word weird again, happens where we're like uncontrollably turning into something, like if that turns into the apocalypse somehow, you know, if
Well, then
like
you
drinking
get
each
to
other's
survive.
blood. Well, no. If we're creating like vampires for real, where people like killing
wrong
each
with it?
other,
Well,
no,
that's the same
Then we gotta
argument if
stop.
everybody was gay.
No, it's not, because you're killing
Yeah,
people.
it is. No,
because you're
you're
killing
not.
people.
If
you're killing
everyone
people,
wants to
vampires.
suck each other,
No,
it's
if
sucking.
you're killing people,
Sucking. We're
no,
talking about
no,
sucking.
no.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
No.
Freedom of sucking. You
No,
can
no.
suck whatever you want.
No. If we find out
Don't
that
kill
you're-
people. Don't
No,
kill people.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
As long as
But-
nobody's dying,
Fucking suck whatever you want.
sure. As long as nobody's, yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Suck all the blood you want, bro. Just keep that shit away from me. I'm not trying to suck nobody's blood.
Yeah, I think my man does kind of feel real creepy. Like, I feel like he might catch another body if we let him out.
Well, his story didn't seem to change, but he also didn't really take full responsibility either. He was still saying that she said it. So who do we believe? The guy who's weird, or
I mean, regardless, it was wrong for him to kill her parents. I don't think like it was that excuse of like. I don't really buy that. I think he definitely was on some like thrill kill shit,
yeah, for sure.
trying to like test because the way he
And
said
he was high as shit.
that is a crazy
Hallucin-
other
I mean,
variable,
you-
but
acid. I mean,
the way
acid
he said he
pills?
looked back, if he was so on acid, the vividness of him being like, I look back at my homie and he was like stunned. He kind of was proud of that moment.
He was. Like, the conversation wasn't really. I mean, if I'm sorry about it, I'm probably not even doing an interview.
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Like, that says a lot to me right there.
Yeah.
But he, like you said, is happy about it. And he, after during the trial, he's like hamming it up for the cameras and shit like that. You didn't kill two people, but he's still talking about like realizations.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was another documentary that went back to his town to interview like basically he was part of this vampire cult that him and his homeboy from high school developed, right? It's kind of like a band situation. They got into an argument and like homie yoked Rod up and Rod left the original vampire cult and started his own cult.
I'm gonna start my own cult.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all, baby. I'm starting my own cult.
I think he was
We
on,
like the devil over here.
when I you know, and I'm not gonna play the documentary because I don't want more copyright strikes. But just look up Rob Ferrell, Murray, Kentucky documentary, and it talks to the homie he went to high school with, and he said that he knew that that's the way that Rod would kill them because they always talked about if they were gonna kill somebody, they wanted it to be up close and personal to really feel it, you know. And you could see, and even in his homie's eyes, like. Yeah, Rod wouldn't have like shot them or done anything crazy like that. He wanted to get up close and personal on some bravado shit, you know,
Right.
some machismo shit.
Right.
You know, it's definitely just a wicked dude. I think there's a lot of influence from his mother, but would he always just be crazy? Was it just like that's a constant conversation we're always having?
But I mean, yeah, I mean, it depends on, because he could have had these problems chemically, and then if he had a mother who knew better, he might not have been able to act on it. He wouldn't have been able to act on it.
Yeah, but I also want to go back to say that maybe the vampire shit is not really a negative shit as long as you're not killing somebody. Because if you're just at the cemetery drinking each other's blood and y'all feel good about each other, I don't think that's far more than, obviously the wine to blood thing isn't real blood, right? It's fucking wine, but the weird macabre shit is still involved there, you know, across the board, and all that shit to me.
Yeah, a lot of that ceremony and stuff like that tends to feel eerie.
And brainwashes some people too.
And again, I think it's not really that. I think it's a vehicle. I think if you want to kill people, if somewhere in the Bible it says you kill people for this reason, then you can set out and kill everybody that's doing that because you want to kill people. If you don't want to kill people, then you're going to fixate on the parts of the Bible or whatever, the satanic cult Bible or whatever, on the parts of the thing that say love people and be nice and don't kill people. It's all about what you feel like doing. It's just like watching the news, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch the news.
Don't get infatuated, right?
Aligns with your value system,
bro. The moral of today's story is don't get infatuated with too much shit. Don't go too hard. Just be balanced with it. Because if not, you might end up molesting little kids. You might end up stealing from people's minds, manipulating people into believing your religion, robbing your child of his innocence because you believe that you're a fucking vampire.
I'm going to go with the moral of the story being communicate with your partner, or there may be a miscommunication and you end up killing her parents.
That's true. You gotta be texting a lot.
You gotta know.
This
Are
could all
you
been
sure?
prevented with a fucking text, but they didn't have text back then.
They didn't have phones back then like
They
that.
have been like, yo, I'm about to
like crush
you
your
sure?
father's skull, like, and then with Instagram and all that, they get the like the
emoji,
funny,
like a
the
crowbar
funny little
emoji.
masks, the little funny masks that you can, because he's standing over her and he'd have like his phone and be like, see this bunny costume on your sleeping father, I'm about to crush his face.
Is there a crowbar emoji?
There has to be at this point.
There has to be.
But he didn't had none of that, and he just crawled through that window with his buddy high as shit.
Society's fault.
Crushing for not being smart enough yet.
No, for slacking on the cell phone shit.
Is that Trump coming in?
Oh shit, that might be.
Sound like Trump flying in.
We're pretty close to Daytona, ladies and gentlemen. I heard Trump is flying in today
for the 300.
For the
500. Sorry.
200 laps off, bro. Well, this is Fresh Produce Florida Media at Gmail. That's the email to get in contact with us. Give us some information. Like, subscribe, share this motherfucker. Make sure you love people. Make sure you try
Cosmo,
to at least have some type of sexual activity, because it's that time of the month to celebrate. And fuck Valentine's Day, but celebrate Black culture this month, ladies and gentlemen.
And Valentine, be nice to your spouse. Yeah.
No, celebrate Black culture. Y'all only get one month of the year. That's fucked up. We should be talking about anything but Black people this month.
I share a unpopular opinion about Black History Month that Wayno, I know you're not a fan of Wayno necessarily, but from Everyday Struggle shares that I'm not a fan of Black History Month.
Because Black History Month should be every day.
That's part of it. That's a small reason. I think it's a larger conversation, but like, I think Black History Month is the ultimate form of placation.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, it's just so much bullshit.
Yeah.
And you know what else? Another part of it? You know how much money fucking, let's just say Nike makes off of Black History Month?
A lot.
Coca-Cola, Budweiser.
They don't even make do-rags.
Fucking cell phone companies with Black History Month.
Yeah.
Publix.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, Black History Month.
Allstate.
I get why it sounds negative that I say that, because it makes people want to say that I'm anti-Black. Obviously, I mean, I can be anti-Black even though my folks is Black, but like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm a fan of my culture. I'm a fan of me and my, my heritage or whatever. But no.
Yeah. Well, I go by the name of Fredo Peens. My dog's attacking somebody at the door. Sorry.
Go get him, Cosmo.